Hello and welcome to this quick video about this thing here. This is the ISDT 608PD LiPo charger. Now, I've had a couple of people get in contact over the Christmas period who are coming into larger quadcopters from the time of whoops, where they have the smaller batteries, and typically you have a custom connector that goes into a USB socket, or you might have something a little bit larger. And those individuals have been kind of contacting me and talking about these kind of devices, so I thought I would get one in to have a look. Now, I've looked at other single LiPo battery chargers before, but they tend to run just on a DC power supply. So that's typically going to be something like another battery or a DC bench power supply to power it from. However, this one can run off a USB-C connection as well. So if you have a high capacity, high power charger for maybe a tablet or a phone or some other device, then you can actually run this thing from that as well. Interestingly, this ISDT product is listed on the Radiomaster website, and that's the first time I've seen this happen. So I wonder if this is the start of a relationship between ISDT and Radiomaster. I like ISDT chargers. It's one of the few brands that I tend to trust here, and I've had a number of ISDT chargers that I've relied on, things like the D2, for example, historically. Now, the features on this is classed as a new generation of pocket chargers, and I think I'd agree with that. On DC, you can get a 240 watts high power, maximum 10 amps output, or using the USB-C, you can get 140 watts or a 5 amp max output. So that means that you can pretty much charge whatever battery that you want to do singly. This is what I would class as a smart charger. It does have an app that we'll look at in a moment that you can run on your phone to monitor things remotely, and it has intelligent battery management and also one-click view of battery parameters and charging statuses as well. IPS screen on here, 2.4 inch, nice and bright by default, big wide viewing angle of 178 degrees. It's nice and easy to see even in strong sunlight. But if you're using it along with something like the app on the phone, then you can kind of keep monitored even if the charger is behind you. It does have a cooling fan in this, although when we're playing here, it's not coming on very often. So this thing is managing the heat really well, but I'm not pushing it really high. But it has got aluminium alloy fins in here and some high-tech silicon heat conducting pads with that fan to try and keep everything cool. And it will support all the common things: LAFE, LiPo, LAHV, lead acid, nickel metal hydride, up to 1 to 16S. So again, this is the 608PD from ISDT. Maximum input current is 10 amps on DC or 5 amps using the USB-C connection. Input voltage range is 5 to 30 volts on DC, or the USB-C is 5 to 28 volts. So ideally you want one of the high capacity chargers. Output voltage range is anything from 3 to 30 volts. Charging current is anything from half volts up to 10 amps. Maximum charging power again is different between 240 watts, 10 amps on the DC power, or 140 watts, 5 amps on USB-C power. Balance current's not bad, it's 0.8 amps per cell max, so the balance part of the charge doesn't take too long either. And there are the various alarms for things like abnormal battery voltage and also input voltage, things like that as well. Dimensions of this, 72.5 by 60 by 26.6 millimeters. The weight is about 85 grams. In use, this is very simple and easy to use. There are 5 preset storage charging profiles that you can set up that you can quickly go to. And that's quite a nice idea on this, because although initially I wasn't a fan of it, the more I think about it, if you are coming to this for something like Whoop and you have a little quadcopter that you've moved up to and you have 1300 or maybe 800, 900 milliamp hour batteries, you can set up a profile for each of those battery types and just go to it and run it without having to try and remember what all the settings need to be. You can just set each of these presets for the individual battery that you want to play with. However, it's when you connect it up to the app that you really start to get access to all of the goodies. And not only does it allow you to set all of the settings of how you want to charge the battery that's connected, then you can also monitor it while it's doing that charge and kind of keep an eye on what is going on. The big disadvantage with this charger is that unfortunately there isn't any discharge or storage function on it. It is charge only, and maybe that will change in a future firmware update, but that is a big shame. And also plugging in a battery into the output will just kind of tell you what the voltage readings are. Unfortunately, it won't give you the option to do any discharge function that way too. There's a lot to like about this little thing. This is a very, very smart charger and feels very modern, with ISDT putting some technology in here that larger chargers don't yet have. I love the ease of use and how easy it is to navigate around, and I love the fact that you get that app to monitor everything too. It's perfect for those coming onto the larger quad models with a low number of batteries from things like REUPLOADED. Only a couple of things to be aware of. Obviously, you are going to need a DC power supply or a high power charger that's going to connect to it over USB-C. And for those of us that are used to larger chargers, the interface does feel a little bit limited. Things like you can only select the charge current in half an amp increments, as the firmware is currently, isn't good enough for me, because I would like to charge my 2200 3S pack at 2.2 amps, not 2 amps, and just have to wait that extra little bit of time. Hopefully that's fixed in firmware soon. And the lack of any discharge or storage function is a real shame. Interested to see what ISDT come out with in 2024, because if this is the kind of technology they're putting into their small chargers, I can't wait to see what they start putting in their 2 and 4 port charge units. Thank you for watching the video. If you watch my videos and find them useful, then please take a moment to hit the like and subscribe button. It helps the channel a lot. If you really like what I'm doing here, you can become a Patreon and support the time I spend helping others and get access to lots of exclusive benefits. Link is in the video description. Remember that all the videos on the channel are organized into playlists, so you can easily use those playlists to find all the videos on a subject that you are interested in. Add Painless 360 to your searches on Google and YouTube, and it'll help you find my content for any particular topic. Thanks again for watching, and as always, happy flying.